Segment two, Gold and Black Live. I want to thank our sponsors, Triple X, Hilton Garden Inn, and of course, State Farm agent Trent Johnson for sponsoring Gold and Black Live. And Mark Herrmann needs no introduction to Purdue fans. Consensus All-American in 1980, finished fourth in the Heisman Trophy, had a long NFL career, and now is working in Purdue athletics in the fundraising component. We'll talk a little bit about that later. I want to, because obviously a big game tomorrow when the Boilermakers travel to Iowa City. You had a lot of success against Iowa in some tough games, though. Certainly the 1979 game was one of the toughest football games I've ever seen. Yet you know what it's like to go out there and play against a riled up group, which they were in 79, and you've seen it many times since. The Boilermakers have an opportunity tomorrow. I mean, you have to look at it that way. And how do you see tomorrow's matchup?
Yeah, I think there's certainly a great chance, Alan. Obviously, the Boilermakers have matched up well with Iowa under Jeff Brom with the 3-1 record, and just what Jeff likes to do offensively seems to give Iowa some trouble. So for whatever reason, because Iowa is an excellent defensive team and an excellent all-around team. So, but you just, something about some teams, you just match up better than others. And as you mentioned, in my career, we had great success against Iowa, and it just seems like the Boilermakers feel comfortable in this matchup and they feel like they can compete. Now, certainly you've got to limit your mistakes and get some big plays over the top like we've done the last couple of years. So, but most of all, you've got to be patient most of the game because they're going to make you throw underneath. But if you do get a shot over the top, you got to take them and you got to hit them. So I think if we can do those things, and defensively, we're certainly holding up our end of the bargain. So I feel good from that standpoint. So certainly things are going to have to fall in place for us to come out of there a victor. But, you got to like our chances, I think, tomorrow.
You played with some pretty salty receivers, certainly and tight end All-American Dave Young and a longtime friend Bart Burrell, who was as good a possession receiver as you're going to find. Raymond Smith on down the line, but not David Bell's pretty good. I mean, he's really something. And he put him in the context of guys you've seen in the NFL. And I'm not projecting him to be the next Jerry Rice necessarily, but I'm just saying he's really got talent.
Well, he does. He just makes it look easy, and you just feel confident when the ball's around him that he's going to make the play. And as a quarterback, knowing that, you feel pretty good about sending it David's way. So, he doesn't have the great top end speed like you'd hope, but he gets open, he gets separation, he runs the routes, and he makes those plays in traffic, which I think is going to really bode well for him at the next level because he high points the ball very well, and he's a tough guy. He's willing to go over the middle and make the difficult catches. And boy, he just delivers time and again. And you cannot ignore the production when you're looking at his film. So he's just a delight to watch. I hated to see him take that big hit at Notre Dame, but looks like he's rebounded pretty well. And you've got to have a short memory as a wide receiver. I remember up at Iowa City, Mike Harris broke his jaw against Iowa our junior year, and going in the middle, and Bob Stoops.
Unbelievable.
So, but yeah, David is just a one of a kind, and I know the Iowa fans are very fearful of David Bell. So. We'll see what kind of performance he has up there tomorrow.
Yeah, 197 yards in 2019, and then 3 touchdown receptions and 120 some yards or whatever it was last year. He has been very, very effective, but he's good against everybody. He has just been unreal. You look at the quarterback situation, and obviously you're used to it. You started for 4 years, won more games I think than any quarterback in Purdue football history. You have that. There's so much attention in today's game. Aiden O'Connell, Jack Plummer. It doesn't in whatever direction Austin Burton it goes with on Saturday. What do you like? With Aiden O'Connell, he's a guy that can stand there and throw it, and you look at him, and seems to have not a fear of anything. He just comes out and does it. Assuming he's the guy Saturday, what do you see, and what can he present for Purdue in terms of moving the football enough to beat Iowa?
Yeah, I like his mindset, Alan. You've got to be willing to throw it down the field. And, he's had some interceptions, but hey, I had a bunch in my career, but we pushed the ball down the field. And, against Iowa, they're going to make you do that, but you still you've got to probe their defense. And I think Aiden, as a pure passer, has that ability to make those throws. And when he has guys open, you've got to deliver. He had a couple guys last week or 2 weeks ago against Minnesota and missed them. And those are the differences between winning and losing. So if he's got the opportunities, he's got to put it on them. If not, throw the ball out of bounds. Don't take the sack. Try to make those good decisions. But they're going to make him read the zones, and they're going to give him some different looks than maybe he has seen on film. So develop the patience, but keep that killer instinct to try to make those plays, because I don't think they're going to let you march 13, 14 plays. You're going to have to get some over the top. So I like his ability to deliver the ball, and I like his bravado and the gunslinger mentality. But he's got to deliver on those and make the plays.
Yeah, but he's a little bit like you. He's kind of a quiet guy. I mean, he is. He's fearless, and seems to be. And I guess maybe when you come in as a walk-on and do things like that, you got nothing to lose, and he's taken that maybe to another level. Now, you made a career, obviously, a long career out of reading defenses, knowing what it takes to be effective, and of course, you also had a long career as an analyst too. Tell me about Purdue's defense and what you're seeing, because obviously it's been a huge turnaround, only giving up 15 points a game, a whole new staff. Mark Hagan, that guy that we're both familiar with, has certainly made a difference, but the entire defense and Brad Lambert, et cetera, has really been really good. What do you see from your perspective? If you're a quarterback looking at that or trying to analyze Purdue's defense, what have you seen so far?
Yeah, they've been fun to watch, and certainly just a different mindset out there. You can see the movements and just the aggression at the line of scrimmage. We're not seeing those soft zones like we saw last year. And, that's, if I'm a defensive player, that's the style that I want to play. Get up there and challenge folks, do stunts up front, bring your linebackers. And I feel like they're doing a great job stopping the run, and that'll be number one tomorrow against Iowa. They're going to try to run the football and then go play action. So if you can keep them to 2-3 yards a carry, I think you've got a really good shot. I like that, Jalen Graham, I think, has been a really nice player this year. Waiting for DeMarcus Mitchell to come alive a little bit, because George, God help him, he's just been, having to handle 3 guys on occasion, and, people chipping and doubling and all those things. And, he just gives you great effort. But if some of those other guys can get into the gaps and make those plays, I think they can hold up. So, there haven't been the turnovers that we had hoped, or the big plays for loss. So hopefully those will come eventually. But I just like what they're doing, and I like the defensive staff. It just seems these guys are playing hard for them, and I like what Brad Lambert's doing from the play calling standpoint, and of course Ron English and Mark Hagan. They're doing a really splendid job.
Well, you look at statistically, and when you only have, I think Purdue's only gotten 2 takeaways, and Iowa's off the chain, number one in the country. 20 takeaways or plus 15. Still, if the law of averages, some things could potentially balance out, and maybe that also plays into Purdue's wheelhouse tomorrow. Playing teams at certain times, and Gene Katie always used to say that about, it's not who you play, it's when you play them. That does give Purdue, it's a psychological thing. I mean, Iowa's been told, every kid in that team has been told about being ranked number 2 and all that, and the huge win. What do you do if you're Purdue to take the most advantage of it? Is it getting out of the gate fast? What do you have to do to fully take advantage of that? Maybe that little bit of psychological advantage that you can have.
Yeah, I think coming off a week off will certainly help. Getting Payne Durham back and Corey Trice and these guys, have watched film for 2 weeks now. They have a good feel for what Iowa wants to do. Iowa put everything into that Penn State game, and as I was watching, Penn State jumps out to the lead. And I'm thinking, gosh, this isn't good for Purdue the following week. But as things unfolded and they get a very emotional victory, the crowd storms the field, and I'm thinking, boy, this could really play into Purdue's hands, that they've got to come right back and get up for a Purdue team that has played them pretty darn well. So I think the mindset of Purdue is, let's go in there. We've got nothing to lose. We've got to go in and play confidently. Just throw some plays at them that they haven't seen, obviously, and guys have a chance to get over that disappointing loss to Minnesota, because Minnesota, that game would have put Purdue in a great position. But now they've got a chance to maybe win one that a lot of people didn't think they'd have a chance looking at the schedule. So I just think come out, guns ablazing, and then see what happens. But play smart football, play good complementary football, and don't forget the special teams part of it. Iowa, I think, may have a big advantage in that area. We've got to play them evenly if we've got a shot tomorrow.
Yeah, they got a great punting and place kicking game, to say the least. They pinned Penn State 3 or 4 times last week inside the 5. You don't want to have to go 95 yards against Iowa's defense. I don't care who you are, especially with Penn State with a backup quarterback. And what was the number 2? 8 false starts.
Yeah.
Now that was maybe more on Penn State and the youth at quarterback, but still. That's a huge factor, and all those things played in Iowa's favor for them to come back and get that win. All right, your day job is an important one, and it has been a big year, been a difficult year in the world of athletics, just because of COVID. And Purdue is one of its greatest accomplishments. Certainly is the More Than a Game campaign, and the fact that you're able to raise the $18 million plus. To make up the deficit. Tell us a little bit about what your role has been with that, and obviously you're natural with it, just your ability to meet people and know people, but and how you've liked it so far, because you've been, you're starting to work your way out of COVID and be able to do things on a person-to-person basis. But how's that been for you?
Well, as you mentioned, it's been incredibly challenging, but incredibly gratifying what the Purdue Nation has done. We set that goal for 18 million, and a lot of us thought, boy, that's out there, and can we do this? But my goodness, people stepped up in a big way, and it just shows you the loyalty of this fan base and the love of this institution in Purdue. And just to be a part of that, all the chips were stacked against us, but we came through and did it. And now we've got to move forward with some other things, but certainly just gives you a great feeling that this community has stepped forward worldwide to help us reach that goal. And we love the Purdue athletics, and we've been able to weather that storm and continue on. So just a great job. And but I've just totally enjoyed what I'm doing, Alan. Just reaching out to our alums, our former players, just engaging them and hoping they get back on campus, and hopefully they're able to enjoy coming to campus and watching our student athletes perform. So that's what it's in it for me. I have enjoyed my 4 years at Purdue, and it's just only gotten better over the years to really know the Purdue family. And I told the group yesterday or 2 days ago, a group of players, that this is such a wonderful time for you. You've been able to compete as a student athlete and get a degree from a world-class university. So I couldn't ask for a better position right now, just to share my feelings about what you can get accomplished at Purdue. And so it's just been just a lot of fun, no question.
You're also a basketball guy. He was a part of the 1977 Carmel State Championships. You and Bart were pretty darn good. I mean, that huge upset of East Chicago, Washington, and Drake Morris. It's pretty off the chain of what Matt Painter's looking at this year, and yet there's challenges in that. I mean, you've got, the old story, you got 11 guys and maybe only 8 or 9 plays, and 11 guys that are really good. I mean, it's probably as good as it's ever been, and you've been watching it a long time as well. How do you look at that season? And there's a lot of excitement, but there's also that challenge of being able to put it all together.
Yeah, no question. Great anticipation for this year, and couldn't be happier for Matt with the roster that he's developed. They've got the experience, they've got the youth, they've got size, they've got scoring ability, and so all these factors. And you're right, he's got to juggle 11 guys that can play for a lot of people, and so time is going to be tough. The minutes are going to be tough, but how they handle all this notoriety coming into the year, I think it is huge for this team. Do they stay focused? Do they come to work every day to try to get better? And each one of them has got to get better in their own way for them to reach their goals. But I think going into every game, they've got to feel like they've got a chance to win a lot of them. So it's just going to be fun to see how all the pieces come together. And, what does Zach Edey do? And how does Trevion and all these things? We just can't wait to see how they mesh, and the young with the older guys. And I just feel like they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. Certainly Jaden Ivey is as exciting a player as there is in the country. So I just want to see where he takes his game, and like everybody, the Brandon Newmans and the Sashas, all those guys, where are they going to end up this year, and how can they really take it to the next level?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun storyline. A good bunch of kids. He's got a great group of guys to work with. That's the good thing. The challenge is making sure that not everybody's going to be happy, and
Right.
that part will be a challenge for him. Mark, always insightful. We appreciate your time so much, and we'll be watching. We'll all be very interested to see how things come off on Saturday in Iowa City, but they'll be fun to also be back in person in Mackey Arena. Masks will be on, I understand that, but volleyball, there's a lot, and soccer, just a lot of really amazing things going on in terms of team play in Purdue athletics right now, and that's got to be fun for you.
No doubt, Alan. Thanks for having me. Enjoyed it. Let's go out to Iowa City and take care of business.
All right, sounds good, Mark. Thanks again. We'll be back for segment 3. Tom Dienhart and myself will break down Purdue, Iowa, as if our first 2 guests with Dave Shondell gave us a little bit of that, and certainly Mark did as well. I don't know if we can top it, but we'll look forward to doing so on segment 3. Thanks again, Mark.
You're welcome. Thank you.